Yes.
Yeah.
Hello. One sec. All right. Hello and welcome. This is what month is it? May 24th.
May.
Welcome to Credit Leverage. My name is Robert Lyon here with Gino Nadarov. Today we're going to be talking about business credit and business funding. So if you're ready to get your funding cap on and learn about how to leverage the banking system and get business credit, get business funding, use that money however you like, even if you don't have a business or even if you haven't started a business. This conversation is going to be incredibly valuable for you to learn the tricks of the trade. I have some questions, Gino, about business funding, but kind of like, what do you think of the biggest roadmap? Do you think it all comes back to, is it more important for you to in the beginning build your personal credit and then use your personal financing and your personal funding to really scale and build the business credit? Because the business credit is like the holy grail, right? Because once you get business credit, you're literally using your LLC, your EIN number, and it's no longer attached as much to your personal credit, basically, so that you can scale and use monopoly money. Basically, you're using other people's money for an LLC. The LLC is its own entity, and basically you've created this thing that the banks determine this is a fundable asset. This is something that we can do it. So I don't know. There's a lot to unpack, I guess, in business
Yeah.
funding. But how do you think about it?
Yeah. So business funding, when they talk about funding, the personal and business, you can get, personal and business funding. But the main thing is the difference between personal and business is the fact that business funding, in this case, credit cards, business credit cards or business credit lines, do not report on your personal credit.
Yeah.
That's the biggest eye opener that I think anybody that's in the game of business should know. And if they don't know yet, they should definitely look into it. It's and access business credit is very powerful. But business credit is something that, especially if it's a new business and you're just starting out, it requires um, you know your personal credit to be basically the personal guarantee to that business. So you're personally guaranteeing the credit that you're accessing on the business side with your personal credit. So if your personal credit is not, where it needs to be,
Mm-hmm.
you're hindering your opportunities by being able to access the business credit. Even though your business may be operating at a good rate now, you are making a good revenue, you might be limited on the credit side because of the fact that you don't have a good personal credit.
Right.
Um, Now, business, funding that encompasses loans as well. So you could go and get business loans. There's loans that are just statement loans. You just, provide bank statements and you can get loans for your business just on bank statements alone with no credit check or very little requirement of credit. You can have a score of like 600 or even less, 550 even. You can get business loans, which is also under the umbrella of business funding. Now, the reason you don't want to stick to that alone because those rates are usually a lot higher, and they're loans. That means you have to take the money. Like you have to take the money and you have to do something with it as soon as possible. So
Right.
if you're going to access the money, you need to you need it right away. If you're just trying to access money to leverage whenever you need it, then you want to get access to business lines of credit. And those business lines of credit as well require personal credit to be good. Because unless the business has been operating for about, I would say 3 to 4 years or even longer, you're kind of like, you're kind of dependent on your personal credit. Your personal credit doesn't really start to go away until your business is able to, raise its business credit with Dun and Bradstreet, and you have enough trade lines reporting to your business credit, the net 30s and things like that you can add to in order to kind of give your business a good trade lines. But now, if you have a good personal credit and you go off and you apply to business credit and get you know business credit cards like this one here, American Express, for example, you get one of these, that's a business line of credit. That's a business trade line. That's better
Cool.
than getting a net 30. And you can definitely grow your business exponentially just by getting a primary accounts to your
Hmm.
business side. But again, your personal credit is really the key to enter. It's like the key to open up the door of all these opportunities when it comes to applying for business credit.
Yeah, because it just opens it up. I guess one of the questions that I was actually curious. So whenever one of our clients, or I mean, it was actually from Ian, but he just opened up a brand new LLC and he was going to apply to some of those like tier one, like, Sam's Club, Uline, like those BS kind of like business credit lines. Do you think if he applied to a bunch of those, it would affect his personal credit at all, or not? Because like he's worried that if he gets those credit cards and then he goes to our funding round, he's going to have those report on his credit cards, but they shouldn't, right?
Yeah. So if he's applying, if it's a business and he's applying on the business side with the EIN number,
Right.
no.
Not the and as long, so if there's like if it asks for your social, they might do a soft pull and probably avoid those ones, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna. So sometimes, okay, sometimes they might do a hard pull, okay,
Oh yeah.
but it doesn't matter because the account will still not show up on your personal credit unless
Ah,
it's like a Capital One is the only
right.
one that I know of. I mean, sometimes Citibank reports to three. I know Capital One for sure reports to all three bureaus. So it just
Right.
depends, and whether it's business or not, that's the difference. Some banks, like even Citibank, sometimes does that if it's a business. But most of the banks, like American Express, Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo,
Hmm.
the tier one banks, so for example, tier one, tier two banks. It's like even Alliant. If you get a business line of credit with Alliant or like other credit unions, they do not report on the personal credit when it's a business credit card or a business line of credit. So
Nice.
the only time you're gonna have that issue is whenever your account actually reports. An inquiry doesn't really hurt you when you're applying for business credit on your personal side. Inquiries,
Well,
they
we can remove them too and probably
yeah,
not get them shut down.
they're what 10%, 15% at most, right, of your personal credit. So it just that's all it is. It just controls a small portion of your actual. I think it's 10% of your overall credit, and that's all you need to worry about is the fact that your personal credit will not be affected when you're applying for business credit cards because
Yeah.
and that account will not report. The account will not report to your personal credit, unless it's Capital One, which I've had experience in the past.
Yeah. So there's some, but not. I would think like the little like because there's like tier one, tier two, and tier three, right? And the way that a lot of these people, gurus online, we mostly focus on the personal credit, but the way they teach is like get your LLC, your address, your phone number, your Dun and Bradstreet. So we agree with all of that. But then they say go get those tier one credit cards, right? And that's your first 30 days. It's like set all that up, build your website, get your phone number, your virtual address, or whatever you got to do, and then you go get those tier one, right? And then the next step up is you basically open up what's it called, credit unions, right? Small business accounts with
Yeah,
these credit unions. You put a little bit of money in there, but you also try and get tier two of credit, and then after about 90 days you also have to buy, like a lot of, there's like trade lines for businesses, right? So within the 90 days or the first 30 days that you probably want to buy business trade lines, and then you want to probably get like one of those like nav.com things and like see where your
yeah.
business credit's at. And then apparently at 90 days, that's when you basically go and you ask all the credit unions and all the bank accounts for business credit, and that's how you can get like 100K. But it all still comes back to personal credit, I feel like. You know what I mean? I think
Oh
that's the
yeah,
thing that most of
if
these online,
it's a
clickbait things aren't saying.
if it's a new business, it's a business credit. If your personal
Right.
credit is new business, you can go get yourself a bunch of Nav or Net
Yeah.
30 accounts or Sam's Club or whatever you want to get. Like like at the end of the day, like okay, like is Chase going to give you a business credit card if a business credit card, if your personal credit is not good? No.
Right. And if you've only been in business for 90 days, like it doesn't matter. You can do all that stuff, but I think at the end of the day, the
Like, yeah, if
uh
my credit was not where it's at, when back then and when I wanted to start, this business, I would not have been able to get business credit to get this
yeah.
business off the ground. I had to get my personal credit, cleaned up and basically ready to go. and then you go into funding. So anytime you go into funding, you have to be like basically prepared on all fronts, on your
Right.
personal side. So if your
Yeah.
personal side is not where it needs to be, I recommend that you get that done first, and then you're able to go and start doing business funding. If somebody comes to me and tells me, hey, I want to how do I get business funding, or how do I get business credit? First thing I ask is, how's your credit score? How's your
Right.
personal credit score? And do you have good trade lines on your personal credit? And the primary trade lines, accounts that you've been paying for the last 5, 10, 20 years, that you can show that you've got good payment history, that you have good credibility, and you've been a good citizen, and being able to pay your bills. So it really
Right.
comes down to that, and then that's where it really matters. But there's good news that people that have had the hardships, or have gone through ups and downs in their life, which I have done that in many ways, and more than once. You have an opportunity to go back and basically ask for forgiveness and do it again. And the way you do it is by getting your personal credit cleaned up, removing those negative inquiries and accounts that may be hindering your personal credit, and as a result, is hindering your ability to get business credit. So it just all ties together, and because it's one system, it's one financial system. They have to
Right.
be able to. They have to be able to. They have to know who you are. They don't know who you are. The only way they know who you are is by your credit report, and your credit
Yeah.
report determines whether you're a good, I guess, paying citizen, and that you should have a business.
Right.
Well, they're going to basically determine whether people should or shouldn't have it. Your personal credit will determine whether you even are eligible to have a business. You can go apply for an EIN number. You can go apply for any, but you're not going to get business funding if your personal credit is not good, or you don't have income with the business already. Now, if you have a business and you're making money, yeah, sure, you can go get yourself some loans. You can probably get good size amount of loans, but those are going to be high interest because they're not usually personal guaranteed. Anything that's personal guaranteed, you get the nice good rates, you get the nice good terms, and you
Yeah.
can negotiate. Now, if you're coming with a low credit score, you're going to be sitting on the back side of the table, begging the banks to get you some money. Uh,
Right.
you, you don't want to be on that side of the table. You want to be on the other side, where the banks is coming to you and saying, "Hey, Robert, we really want to give you some money because you have a really good track record, and you have this business that you just opened up, and we just found out about it. American Express will be the first one to send you a business credit card."
Yeah. No, Bank of America is the one that's hitting me up right now for one of my.
So yeah, I know for me it was Amex always. It was either Amex or
Yeah.
Bank of America, or even Chase, right? I mean, they all
Right.
freaking. Whenever my credit shot back up, like I'm at 770 or anywhere close to 800, it's like,
Hmm.
oh my god, game on, game on. Like they love you, they want to give you more money. So it's
Yeah.
like, and then that's why when I got started, I had a few cards, and then I started getting more cards. So now it's like nonstop cards. It's like
Right.
all personal and business credit right here. So it's like you can stack your credit cards pretty fat, and this is only a short period of time. So now
Mm.
for me it's like it's just like it's more like the rules of the game, so just play by the rules, right? So just make sure
Yeah.
you follow the rules, and don't shoot yourself in the foot by being late on a car payment, or late on a credit card, or being lazy to pay off your debt, or doing anything that's going to hinder your personal credit, because worst thing you have, the best is messing that up. The best thing you have is that you use that as your tool, and then
Yeah.
from there the banks will love you.
Makes sense. So yeah, while people are fixing their credit, though, they should probably be building this LLC, getting the Dun and Bradstreet number, getting their virtual address. How important do you think is like the virtual address and the business phone number? Is it a must? Like, I mean, obviously you don't want to do your home address, right? But I
No,
mean,
I mean,
I think if you have a good enough
it's
credit, the banks don't give a shit. But maybe
I,
I'm
I
wrong.
personally,
Never.
I personally think they don't care as much as
Right.
people make it. They make it sound like, oh, you have to have a perfect structure and to get business
Yeah.
credit, and then this is not true.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten business funding on residential addresses.
Yeah.
You know, I've used my
What
resident.
do you think it's the underwriting though? Maybe that's the logic behind it. It's like if it
It's
goes
when
to
you
underwriting.
it's possibly when it goes to underwriting or when you're doing application. But I mean, look, it's just they're going to look at your personal credit whenever you apply for credit. Anytime the word credit is used, your personal credit will be pulled either as a soft pull or a hard pull.
Yeah.
And that's going to determine or not, and then also your business. They'll look at your business credit as well, because what they do is they pull the business credit. They pull it from Dun and Bradstreet, which is the
Mhm.
you know the bureau, business bureau, I guess, of the bureaus that all the major bureaus. They'll look at that as well and see if you have had a loan in the past, if your
Yeah.
business has had credit cards in the past,
Mhm.
and all that stuff will basically be available for them to determine whether or not they want to give you a card or not. Now, credit cards are a little more lenient compared to, like, credit lines. So like
Yeah.
when they say a credit, you get a zero interest, 12 to 24 months uh, business credit. That means it's going to be a business credit card. Now,
Right.
if you want to get a business, credit line, credit lines go past 30 to 40,000. Like, you might get a $50,000 credit card, and I've only seen a few people have that.
Mhm.
But in order to get like like over like 70, 80, $100,000, you'll need to get a business line of credit, and
Yeah.
those are more more I guess a lot more paperwork involved. But they
Mhm.
also pull your credit, but you get access to more money because you have the bank statements, you have your personal credit, you have your articles of organization, you have your operations agreement, you have all those paperwork ready to go, including your business address, your business phone number. And again, I use my personal. That never had to use a like a actual business address. It could be a residential if your business is running from home. Like for me, or if I do management, other things, like if you're doing, let's say, like a phone number, I've used like Google Voice, works fine. You don't need to go buy like a separate phone. You can use Google
Yeah.
Voice.
That's what I was thinking.
It's fine. Just as long as it's not a personal number.
Mhm.
And I mean, I've used personal numbers on applications, and that doesn't matter as much either. It just depends on whether you're just starting out. Like, if you're starting out, it matters, But
Yeah, I think that's the word.
if you're just starting out, you set it up correctly in the first time, you're more likely to get approved up front, which is where you're kind of like you're just getting going. But if your business has been around for years and it has trade lines already reporting that were there, they kind of have an idea of how your business is doing, and they'll use your personal credit to determine whether they want to extend you credit cards or credit lines
Yeah.
as a determinant. So again, it goes back to that personal credit as a kind of like a verification of whether you've been a good paying citizen.
Yeah. So it's like repair your credit, build your business credit while you're repairing your credit, do it the right way. So that once you finally do go into, the next step, which is like trade lines and such, that you can basically,
Exactly.
boost your credit score and get maximum personal and business maximum credit. Right. And
Yes.
then, I had a guy, he literally, he said he had an 830 credit score, been in business for 20 years, and he owned a bunch of apartment buildings. He didn't want to get a HELOC loan, but how much do you think someone like that could get? He kind of caught me off guard with that question. What do you think though?
So if he already has real estate and he's been in business for years, I mean, if his
With
personal
an 8
credit,
830 credit score.
he has an 830 credit score.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, so I mean, he's looking at at least 200 to 250.
Yeah. I
And
said I
or
said 300 because it was a sales
on the
call,
on
but
the person I'm saying, like, that's like, that includes I would say possibly just business alone, but personal, he can get like 100 just on the personal if he doesn't have personal credit already. He doesn't have a lot of if he doesn't have a lot of credit cards, and from the major banks, and if he hasn't applied recently, he can get personal credit as well. And
Mhm.
business, he can get at least 150 to 250 business credit. So
So
he
how
can
much do you think
apply.
total, like in theory?
I mean, in theory, total will be 300. Yeah, around
Yeah.
300
That's what I told him too, but I was thinking about it. I was like, man, like
or
how
more.
much could
I
I
mean,
get
I
him?
got.
But if he would do some HELOCs or something on his like
Oh yeah,
apartments, he could get a ridiculous
I
amount
got
of money.
three.
But
I was able to, when I was at 803.
Hmm.
With all my, what the real estate I had and everything, I got around 350. So he can get
Nice.
more. He can get he can go up to 500,000 if he's really, he's really got that strong credit report. Because
Right.
strong credit report means you got a lot of good positive trade lines, and you're not late. You have no derogatories. You never had to settle accounts, things like that, right? So you have,
Yeah.
those are important. So all that stuff can be very, very critical. How much credit they're willing to extend to you.
Yeah. That's crazy though. Just imagine getting like $500,000 of other people's money that you can just like go do whatever you want. That's the
Yeah,
dream, right? There you go.
but
So everybody, it's
that's why
out there,
like
bro.
a person like that, a person like that, person like me that would have access to money, they know that when they give me money, it's in good hands. So it's like
Yeah,
they
exactly.
know
They
that.
would love to give you as much money probably
They
as
they
they
they know
can.
that because like every time that I get a credit card, I pay it off. Like so
Right,
it's
right,
like
right.
anytime I get a like a line of credit on the business side, like Blue Vine, for example, I borrowed, what was it, like 60 grand recently.
Yeah.
At the beginning of this year, I think it's 3 months. I paid it all off. You know, so it's like they gave me a lineup for a year. They gave me 12 months. They gave me $75,000 line of credit, and I pulled about 60 from it,
Yeah.
and for various things, business related, and then I was able to pay it all off within 3 months. So it's like
Right.
they're gonna
So you could
see
probably
that.
go back to them and then get like an increase on your credit, maybe.
I can call them, get another increase,
Maybe, yeah.
whatever. Like whenever I want to pull more money, I can definitely do that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like, you're building that relationship, and that's where it comes down. Sometimes people have to build relationships even if they pay high interest. So sometimes it's, you go to a bank and they're giving you high interest, that's fine. Don't get mad. Oh, they're charging me too much. It's not necessarily because of their fault. It's because your credit doesn't allow them to give you a better rate. So
Mhm.
people don't realize when they buy a house or a mortgage or anything, or anything related to any kind of lending, your interest rate is, if long term, it's going to cost you way more, right? Interest like 1% or like 0.5 or 0.01% of a loan amount is a large amount of money over the next 20, 30 years. So you really want to, you can save like over like $200,000-300,000 just by having good credit. you
Right.
know it's like long term, your personal credit better be where it needs to be before you go out and start asking for money, because then when
Yeah.
you start asking for money, you're going to get those shitty rates. So unless your credit is good, and also you want to buy a house or invest in real estate as an investment, you're going to get the shitty rates. You want the best rates, which the best rates are not that good right now, but there's still like rates out there that are within. I'd rather get an 8% or 9% than a 12, 13% or 14% rate, which is what's going on right now. So people are getting, like, if they're buying houses, they're getting over that 10% and just interest rate alone because they can't
Wow.
qualify. Rates are pretty up, now going up, but they're still like in a stabilized form right now. But as far as mortgages, but as far as I know, if you got good credit and you got your business in line, you're going to be able to access minimum 50 to $150,000 in business credit if your credit score is anywhere above 680. Now,
Hmm.
if you're below 680, you need to work on your credit, and you need to get your credit kind of up there, or you need to also get trade lines to get you up to that next level in order to buy more access to more money.
Yeah. What is the difference between like a net 30 and like a net 90? What are those for business credit and such?
Net 30s are actually, let's see, net 30s are more in line with like business trade lines. So they're basically trade lines that I report on the business side just to give the business some activity in order to provide, like, if you're buying office supplies, if you're going to be buying any kind of, for example, you want to buy. Let's say you're buying equipment for your at Home Depot, for example, right? You can go
Yeah.
get a Home Depot card, right, for your business, and your
Yeah.
Home Depot card would basically allow you to buy equipment or parts that you need for your business.
So So they're just credit card lines of credit with different companies, basically, and then you
Yeah,
you get
it's just
something and you pay it back, and that
it's
builds
just
your business
it's,
credit.
I call them, like, those Macy's cards and stuff. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was thinking.
it's like, you go get your
Get some staplers and pens or whatever the fuck.
go get your Macy's credit card or something, and then you're able
Yeah.
to, go buy some, Macy's clothes or something like that. But like, it really comes
That's funny.
down to like how much of a difference does it really make.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it like maybe like once or twice on some of these that I would get them, but honestly, I never really got any net 30s. Like, that's not something that I do like
Yeah.
as a ritual.
I think I'd rather well, they
yeah.
don't cost any money, do they, or do people pay for them?
No, those are free. They're free,
You
and
just
they
apply.
could benefit you if you go to get a bunch of net 30s. You can go and they'll help your business if it's new, right? If your
Right.
business is new, and you really don't have a good personal credit score, you can get those net 30s to help the business, get access to money. Now,
Right.
the best way to do it is to, just fix your personal credit, and then go and maybe get some net 30s if you want, and then apply for, like, business credit, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
way to do it. But the net 30s, if I don't, I'm not a huge fan of net 30s, but I know
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of gurus that pitch net 30s, and they say that this is the way thing you have to do it or whatever. It's not necessarily to me. I think it's something that you want to do it if you can, and
Mm-hmm.
it really helps your business, and it could benefit if you do it. It's one step that you could do that would increase the value of your business and get access to money. But
Yeah.
whether it's whether it's an approval or a denial, it's not. The approval and
Right.
denial is not gonna. You just might get a little more money than you would if you didn't get it. Maybe, I would say, but I think personally, it's more about getting your personal credit to the point where you can get access to business credit, and that's what it comes
Mm,
down to.
right.
Access is
And then
more key.
yeah, and then once you fix your personal credit and you apply for a bunch of business credit and you get approved, that's going to be way more powerful than all these little derpy Uline and like Sam's Club cards, right?
Yeah, so it's
The
like
only thing that I saw that
exactly
is kind of cool.
primary
This is a
account.
cool. Yeah, this is a cool thing is you can get a Sam's Club business credit card and you can go and buy vending machines at Sam's Club and buy all the food to load the vending machines up, and then you can go drop them off somewhere in town and make some passive income. So I thought that was a cool little
Yeah.
ninja hack that some people are doing. But
Like these are that business. This is another one. This is a
yeah, that's a
cash.
good card.
This is a Chase Inc. business. Then you
Yeah.
have another unlimited Chase business. You can see
Mm-hmm.
it. It's a unlimited business, and then you have this is the Capital One business account as
The
well.
Spark. Yeah.
Smart business. This is another one but this one could report to your personals. Just be careful with the Capital One.
Right. You want
But
to do that last
yeah, but
or not even
those
at
are
all?
the,
How much did you get approved though by Capital One? Is that even is
I
it more
got
than
30. I
3,000?
got two. I got one was 32,000, and then the other one was 26. So
Oh, those are massive. Those are, well, I mean, it's not that much, but yeah, that's pretty good
26. I
though.
mean, you're looking at $50,000 for one bank. It's not bad, right?
Yeah. Giovanni was saying the most he could get was like 3,000. So that's what I was worried, bro. Whatever though.
No, Capital One. You can get a good chunk of money from Capital One. I've gotten business funding for my family, like for my parents. So it's like they don't own a business, but they do.
Right.
And,
They set one up.
they got their credit was where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I got their credit where it needs to be, and then I leveraged their credit to go get access to business credit for them.
Right.
And
Right.
then and once we got the business credit, we're able to leverage that money and go and invest in real estate or at other assets, right? So that's how I
Mm-hmm.
was able to buy multiple properties in 1 year in California.
Yeah.
So that's a big deal if you really know how to, if your family members are, if you guys get together and you guys kind of like, okay, like this is our plan, we want to buy real estate or want to invest in assets or other things, like we can get you guys, your family members, involved in this process and get their credit fixed and help you access money that they never had.
Yeah, that's even powerful. Instead of building a commune, you just need to get a bunch of people together, get them all funded, and then go buy a bunch of different real
Yeah,
estate properties.
we can just open up a big fund for everybody
There's
that's
power in
down.
numbers, man. That's why the government tries to spread us all apart, man, and keep us all isolated because they don't want us
we
to
gotta
get
we gotta
together,
help.
bro, and take
Yeah,
over.
the more together you are, I mean, obviously the first group of people is you and your nuclei of family, right? mother,
Right.
father, sister, brother, whatever. That's your first kind of like venue. Then you spread
Hmm.
out like your community or your work or whoever your associate work with, your network, and then you
Yeah.
go out to the network, which is like your other people, the people that you not might not see every day, but they're people that
Right.
you know that.
That's your power base, right? All those people.
Yeah, so then you can bring all these people together and like those, and then that's why the best way to do is like even our clients that are looking to invest in real estate. There's opportunities to put your money together with us potentially, or
Yeah.
joint ventures that they can put their money into and use the business funding that they get, whether it's credit lines or loans, and put that money to use within like a few months, and then you're basically you might hold the money for like 3 to 6 months, and then you can turn around and like flip a property, or you can cash flow and then use the proceeds to pay off your original debt. So this is what the masters have done in the years before us, and that this is how we do it now is no different. All it
Right.
is being able to buy or invest correctly, and then be able to basically determine what your income is going to be, and what your loan amount. If you're remember credit cards, you're only required to pay 1% of the minimum payment of the total amount on the credit card, whether it's personal or business. 1%.
Mm.
So that means if you're using a $30,000 credit card, your payment is only going to be like $300 a month,
Right.
right? So if you're paying
That's crazy.
$300 a month and you're leveraging $30,000, you can definitely buy a piece of land or a piece of real estate, for example, in a nation in Midwest or something. You can buy something, and then you can cash flow, and I'm sure you're going to make more than $300
Hmm.
cash flowing on that property, and you're going to be able to just pay off the debt. So like now it's like, well, just get a credit card, for me, like get a credit card, buy a house.
Right. That's
Get a
what it
credit
is.
card, buy a house. So how many credit cards can you get, right, to buy a
Yeah.
house, right?
Man,
It's
that's
like,
crazy.
like it's buy a house. So it's like that's what it comes down to. But if you want to buy bigger assets, or you want to invest in like besides real estate, like continuous cash flow, you can invest in e-commerce. You can invest in automated services like campaign marketing. There's a lot of things that you can get involved in, and that's why it's important to get your personal credit ready, because those doors don't open until you get your personal credit. You go through some kind of repairs, and there's a lot of companies that they say they repair your credit, but we haven't heard about some companies that are getting sued for not really doing what they said they're going to do. And
Yeah.
we are in the business of helping people, so that we don't benefit from anybody not getting their credit fixed. We only benefit when people actually get funded, and then we can help them invest the money. So that's the difference, right? Is that
Yeah.
we want people to get, we want to help them get their credit fixed. We want to help them get to that next point, that way they can go get that money, and then they're leveraging themselves to access the money. But but then, okay, they got the money, but they still need to know what to do with the money. And if they don't do it right, or if they mismanage the money, they'll be back in that same hole, even worse.
Yeah.
So it's that like real critical point where anybody that wants money, we can help you get there. Join our program, Credit Leverage X, creditLeverageX.com/funding. We can get you in, whether you're above or below 680. But if you really want to invest, that's what the community is about, and that's what Credit Leverage X is about. Is about getting the people into a program, that way they can actually get access to knowledge and information, so that when they
Hmm.
do get the bag, they can start investing the money in the right way.
Yeah. Put on their investor cap. It's like, first, you got to put on your credit repair and funding, like plan, like get your head straight. Like that's your main focus. Like all your money should be going to repairing your credit, getting trade lines, and setting yourself up to get funded. Once you finally do get funded, then you got to put on your investor hat, and you got to find the right moves that's going to make sense for you. That's going to make sense for your family, so that you don't just use this money frivolously on stupid things, but you actually turn this money into that infinite return that we talk about, and so on and so forth. So,
Yep.
uh, I think that was it for today, man. That was good. We're going to be talking more about real estate next week, and how to turn credit cards, and really how to buy houses for, dirt cheap, using none of your own money. Essentially, that's
Yes.
really what it is. It's like learn how to buy real estate without using any of your own money.
That's the biggest thing, is being able to get to the point where you now, like, once you get your personal credit structured right, you get the right trade lines in there. If you don't have trade lines, we'll help you get that. You can get that done. Then we go and get you the bag, get you the money, access money that you didn't have, personal and credit, business, personal and business credit, and loans too, if you want, and also HELOCs. If you have a house, you want to access the money, fairly quickly, we can help you with that. And then, next week, like you said, we'll focus on real estate as a avenue of where you can put your money, and how we can help you do that without necessarily being the doing all the legwork that's involved. And that's something that we're actually doing that together.
Yeah. I mean, it's just so crazy. It's such a direct path to be able to get real estate, because it's pretty straightforward. And you can get your credit up. You're going to be able to get approved for a mortgage. But like you were talking about, the rates suck right now. So there's better ways to get into real estate than just boosting your credit and getting a mortgage. Because if you just buy one house and you just live in it, like, it's not a great investment, right? I've got this buddy down in Florida. He bought an Airbnb, and he's living in one of the rooms and trying to make it profitable as an Airbnb. And I'm like, bro, you need to get out of the Airbnb, let it pay for its own mortgage, and it's an asset. You're just not thinking big enough, man. So we'll talk more about that next week.
Yeah, that's a fact. You have to open up. I mean, I lived with roommates. I know how it is. So it's like, I've done it, and it's like,
but if his whole dream was to get an Airbnb, but now he lives in the fucking Airbnb, and then he has to go stay on his friends' couches and shit when he rents it out. It's like, you're not doing it right, bro. You gotta get another property. You gotta figure it out.
you gotta either the Airbnb, if you're doing Airbnb, you keep it strictly Airbnb, and you never really want to live with your tenants. Like, I've done it before when I first, I had to do
house hacking is cool, but not Airbnb.
I mean, when you're in your 20s, I mean, if I was in my when I was in my 20s, like 21,
why not? Right.
I mean, I lived with a bunch of people that I didn't really know, and then I was like, oh, I don't care. I bought the asset. I owned the property. I rented the place out. I even lived in the garage for like 6 months. Like, I didn't give a shit. So at the end of the day, I built the garage though. I built it into a studio, and then guess what? While I was in there building that garage, the real house was being rented. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. I had that rented out, and then I was cash flowing, so I was making money and I was working, and I had a unit that I was in, and I was like, I need to get out of here. Like, I'm sitting on money, so I was like, I'm out. Right. So I left, and I made an extra $1,600 a month on my studio. So I was bringing like $5,000 a month on one house, and my mortgage was $1,600, bro. I was
that's pretty awesome.
$4,000 a month on one property. I mean, you tell me how anybody in their right mind can make that kind of money on one property.
Yeah. My goal, I want to get a 6-figure flip, bro. I want a 6-figure fix and flip. That's my dream.
Yeah. If you need, quick money, it flips, might get the property, turn around, flip it, make some money. Definitely. And then go out and get, properties that you actually want to hold, right? So that's the dream, and I think that's what my goal as well. But right now, it's like the properties that I do own, I'm really happy with, because they all cash flow. So I'm like, well, I could just keep buying more of these properties and cash flow. And that's why we're going to go into more detail on how we can do that, how you can go about and find those properties, finding those deals. We'll show you some of the stuff that we use, how we get these deals, maybe. And really give some more information and how you guys can invest.
Yeah. All right, let's do it. I'm gonna wrap that up then. Peace out, everybody. Send us a message if you need anything. Check out creditleveragex.com. And everybody listening out there, you're either in our program or you need to be. So reach out. We'll talk to you soon.